What's going on, everybody? S.L.B coming at you with another video review, and this time we're taking a look at the combined form of TFC toys Poseidon. I'm going to go over the animal modes, beast modes, whatever you want to call it. Then I'll go over their individual robot modes, and then we'll get into the total combined form. But first, let's get into the beast modes. I think this is where they shine the best. It's a great representation of the G1 figures. The engineering to get them to this position is great. There are some tweaks that need to be adjusted, I feel, but I think the paint is great. The look of them is very menacing. Minor problems with some yellow paint here on Deathclaw, but that aside, I think this is where they shine in individual modes. We'll get into robot mode, then we'll get into combined mode, so let's get going. Alright, here we have them all in their robot form, and they do look great in their robot form. I will say off the bat, though, that my favorite has got to be Iron Shell, followed closely with Mentor Razor, and then we'll go even into Deathclaw there, Tentakill, Big Bite, and Cyberjaw coming up in dead last. And the only reason why Cyberjaw comes in last is because of this awkward foot thing in the back. But other than that, their robot modes look good. The aesthetic is there. They're a good representation of the G1 figures, and the colors look top-notch. So let's get them into combined mode and see what the combined mode looks like. So essentially, we're going to do this the same way that we did Havoc, is we're going to start at the top and work our way down, going over articulation and just the look of them in general. We'll go into comparisons and then final thoughts. So starting off with the head, let's get this right out of the way. I understand now why they included this. I forgot which figure they included this with, but his head, this is the standard setup for it, and it is pushed back a little too far, in my opinion. It would have been better if they kind of pushed it forward, so I may end up replacing this in there just to give it a little bit more. I think that head come a little bit further forward, because as you can see, the lights really don't shine back there, especially with these bits in the way. So there's that, but it is on a ball joint. You can do a full 360. Cannot look up all that much, cannot look down all that much. And the face is nice. I would have also liked maybe if they included an angrier face, like something kind of going, "Urgh," something like that. But this kind of restless face, just kind of plain, doesn't really suit the rest of the way he looks, because he's very beefy, he's very big. So it would have been nice to have some kind of angry face, not really screaming, but just something maybe him going grr. So let's move on to the arms. Let's just get some camera adjusting going. So moving on to the arms, they're very problematic. The arms, when they peg in, they peg up, not down. So when you're sliding them in, they slide up, which is a very big deal, because if you keep bending them like this, you get resistance, and the actual connector bit wants to slide down, and I don't know if you can see it, but see how that just easily slides out. It would have been nicer if this was kind of flipped upside down, so that all the weight's resting down instead of up, because this friction on this is just eventually going to go, and it's not really a strong connection, especially with the weight of these guys just kind of bringing them down. So be mindful of that. You do get, see, again, and there's really no way to rectify that without taking the thing apart, maybe readjusting it yourself, but there we go. Okay, that's in there. So when you are posing the arms, kind of get your thumb underneath there so you can get out that way. So you're pushing up with your thumb and down as well, just to kind of keep it in there. But that's where you can get on that bend. Can do a full 360 as well. There is a bend at the elbow, giving you 90 degrees, which is nice. And the fingers are very nicely articulated. There's a swivel. There's no up and down like this, like you get them to wave. But the fingers are nicely articulated. I just took it off because, again, like I said, it's problematic. But hinges all throughout here, ball joint, I went over that before, so you can do the too sweet. So that is a big downer for the arms there because they just don't. It's very, I don't know. It's just if those connections were flipped upside down, it would have been a lot better. But since you have to go up with them, and the friction is all it's keeping it together, it's a problem. But let's move on to the hips, shall we? Moving right along, we get into the hips, and this is another one of those. It could have been solved with tighter ratchets. They are ratcheted hips, which are nice. You can go back that far, you can go forward that far, and they can go out pretty far. But unfortunately, here's the issue. Not very tight ratchets. Getting him to stand up, I'm going to say right now, is a pain. Getting everything just right to where he has a nice solid stance and he's standing straight, not leaning to one direction, not leaning too much to the left, too much to the right. It's a bit of a problem. It would have been solved a lot better with tighter ratchets and a little bit more, I don't know, a little bit different engineering, in my opinion. It looks great, It's this skirt covers it up very well to where it's not very, awkward, but it's just getting it into the right stance because they're not really even. There's so many ratchets in that it's, see how it's kind of leaning one way. It's just an issue in my opinion. So let's move on to the knees and the feet. So here we are at the bottom floor. Whew. And if you'll notice, I don't have the lifts in them because with the lifts, it makes it even more of a problem to get them standing up. Maybe it's just because I was kind of rushing to do this. I don't know. But the knee, it's pretty well done. You can get 90 degrees there, which is really nice. There's a ball joint down here, so you can get some ankle rocker back and forth. It's pretty good. And you can move the toes up and down. So there's that. So that's pretty good from the knees down. I mean, and these feet are really solid. He's not sliding around or anything, so that's good. But it probably would have been better if they included some kind of rubber adhesive thing to put on the bottom. So if you have him on a shelf or something, he's not going to be sliding around. But he's got really no problem just standing there on his own. He's not, the feet do a really nice job of supporting him, both forwards and backwards, so he's not going to topple over. So let's bring the camera back up, go and do some comparisons. Before we get into the comparisons, there's one more thing I forgot to do when I was going over the arms and see, can he hold his weapon? So let me grab some weapons here. I got his big Mamma Jamma sword here, right there. I got the handheld the little blaster that comes with 1,000 kills there. And we have Cyberjaw here in his gun configuration. So let's start off with this. Can he hold it? So we gotta move him up a little bit. Let's do it this way first. And can these joints hold weapons? That answers that question. So if I hold them up, sorry if my arm's in the way, but there's your answer. Cannot hold that up, which is a big bummer. And that's the lightest of everything. Let's see if he can hold his sword. Come on. Can he hold his sword? Let's see if we can hold his sword. Not even going to hold on to him. Ready? All right, so he can hold his sword, which is a good thing. That's a very good thing. Can the elbow support it? Kind of. Yeah, the elbow can support it, so that's a good plus. That's a plus, in my opinion. And now, can he hold another big weapon here? Can the elbow support it? No, the elbow cannot support it. In fact, it came unpegged from the back there. The elbow cannot support it. Can the shoulder support it? No. Now, there is a trick to this. You can get it just right. You know, I lied. There is no trick. He cannot hold another weapon, which is a big bummer. Because it looks great, him holding this weapon and everything, but the shoulder doesn't support it, the elbow doesn't support it, and it just becomes unpegged. So that's... man, I was having such high hopes for this toy, this line, and it just completely just crapped out. I'm just going to be blunt that it crapped out. So let me get them cleaned up, and then we'll go into some comparisons. So for comparisons, we're going to go small and then big. For the smallest comparison, here we have the little figure that came with MP10. That's just ridiculous. I mean, that, in my opinion, would probably be in scale, in my opinion. So there's that. What we got next? Next, we'll just get some Masterpiece figures here. Here is Thundercracker. And here is Soundwave. To give you an idea of scale, I don't think he's technically Masterpiece scale, but he does look pretty decent. I mean, if we're basing this on Masterpiece, then I guess technically he could be Masterpiece scale, but TFC Toys does not really do Masterpiece scale. They just kind of go with their own thing. So there's that. Get them out of the way. For some more combiners, let's bring in official Combiner Wars Bruticus here. Let's give you an idea what that looks like. And another official combiner. Oh, here he is with the Jolly Green Giant Devastator. And for another third-party combiner comparison, here he is with Transformission Havoc. Just so you get an idea of what they look like together. Yeah. That is it for the comparisons. Let me readjust myself, and I will get to some final thoughts. Some final thoughts on TFC Toys Poseidon. Not just the line, but the combined mode itself. Let's go over the combined mode. He has major flaws. The major flaws being the ratchets. If the ratchets were better and he could keep, his weight proportioned correctly, I think it would have been great. The fact that he can't hold a combined weapon like Cyberjaw here, without the thing toppling over, I think it's a big negative. The fact that the arms combine when they combine up, I think that's a big negative. I think the hips, there's too many ratchets in the hips, so to get him in the proper stance takes a long time, and it's very frustrating. The pros, he's big, he's beefy, he's mean looking. I would have liked it if they went with different colored hands. I don't like the gray. It just doesn't match the rest of the figure. The colors are great though. It's, you know, it is Seacons. You can totally tell that. Overall, I'm going to give him a C minus. And I think in this instance, the bad outweigh the good. This is my honest opinion. To have him just stand there looks great, but to have pose him, very problematic. So that's why he's getting a C minus in my book. It'd be really funny right now if some third party or some KO company came out with a, what is it, God Neptune from Beast Wars 2. I think that'd be funny. It'd be a lot cheaper also, but just the color scheme on that one, I think it would be funny to have these two side by side. But that's my opinion. What's your opinion? Leave a comment in the comment section down below. Leave a thumbs up, like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Follow me on Facebook, at Twitter, on Instagram. If you want to, you know, throw a tip out there for me, I got a PayPal down in the description below. This is S.L.B, and this has been my review of TFC Toys Poseidon. And this is S.L.B saying, my childhood hates me.